on the topic of modesty, there are rules for certain communities when it comes to modesty. And a modest woman would never uncover parts of her body. She would never show cleavage. She would never show her thighs. And, she wouldn't, wear something open, showing her arms. And there are certain things that a modest woman wouldn't do. And when it comes to Judaism, those main things that I discussed are something that's the general rules of modesty. But then other communities have different standards, and it depends on which community you live in, and you don't have to uphold standards of one community. It doesn't mean that if one community believes that, you must wear a shirt, covering until your neck or something, doesn't mean that is modesty all over. It means that that's the modesty expectation of that community. However, overall, there's general rules of modesty, like covering cleavage, not showing your thighs and things that I've mentioned. Now, when it comes to Judaism and modesty, these things are self-understood. A Jewish woman shouldn't need to have rules. You must cover this, you must cover that, it must be covered by this amount of inches, this, you must wear a shirt or a turtleneck, you must do this, you must do that. That isn't modesty. That's extreme rules that some communities have. A woman who has the feeling of modesty understands that her body is private, and a woman with that feeling would be uncomfortable to show it to others, to go out and have men that are unrelated to her see her body uncovered. It's embarrassing. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It feels disrespected if someone would look at you when you're showing parts of your body are uncovered. If a modest woman, if she is in a position, someone walked in her bedroom and she wasn't properly covered the way she feels comfortable, she would feel very, very exposed, very uncomfortable. And a modest woman knows that there are certain things that she doesn't want anyone to see. She doesn't appreciate if other people look at her in a certain way. She wouldn't want other men to sexualize her body and look at her private parts of her body, parts that are considered private for herself. And I'm not just talking about private parts. When women go to a beach, even if everyone's doing that, everyone's wearing a bikini, I don't know how women feel comfortable dressing like that. Yes, legally you're covering what you need to cover, but how do you feel wearing that? Don't you feel like you're exposed? Don't you feel like other men are looking at parts of your body and thinking of you in a certain way and sexualizing you? And in the non-Jewish world, they're like, "Oh, don't sexualize me." Well, of course, if you don't want them to sexualize you, then don't make yourself into a sexual object. Don't show off your whole body and make some men, obviously most normal, moral men, if they see a woman undressed in a certain way, he would feel extremely uncomfortable. He wouldn't be staring at her. But any person that is not so moral, and he would be looking at the woman and sexualizing her body, and how would a woman feel comfortable exposing herself in a certain way and allowing other men to sexualize their body? And therefore I believe that if a woman has the natural feeling of modesty, she would not uncover her body in a certain way, and she would have the understanding, and she doesn't need any rules. She knows which parts of her body are private and which parts of her body are attractive and would cause some men to look at her and think about her in improper ways.